Today I have a new brand to show you guys. They are called Ardio. We're looking at an everyday dive watch, GMT, depends on how you look at it, but this is a really well-made everyday watch. It's great for everyday carry. I have 3 different colors to show you guys. I think there's only 5 colors in total. I'll throw up all the colors so you can see all of the different watches that they currently offer. I'll also be giving away one of these watches in a later video, probably coming out this weekend. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe if you have not, and of course, let's take a look at all 3 of these Ardios in detail. I love to bring new brands here to the channel, especially brands located here in the United States. This is Ardio. They're a brand that are located in Pennsylvania. So their watches are designed there and obviously manufactured overseas. This is an everyday watch. That's what I would call this watch. It looks like a dive watch. It gets a rotating bezel. It's a 12-hour bezel, and it gets 200 meters of water resistance. It also gets one of the nicest sapphire crystals that I have seen on a watch in a little while. It's very domed and boxed. It looks very vintage, as you can see, and it also distorts the dial on the outer portions a little bit, which I like. It gives that vintage look. You also get stainless steel bezels on here. So they're 12-hour bezels and they are stainless steel. So all 3 of them have the exact same bezel. There are 5 different dial colors, I believe. So I have the black here. This is a glossy black with gilt tone indices and hands. This is what they call a copper dial. It looks like a salmon dial in my opinion. You have black tone indices and hands. This is the baby blue. It looks like a Tiffany blue. This gets black indices and hands as well. There is a green, which is like a lime green, very, very bright green, which looks very cool. And then there's an orange as well. All 5 of them are currently available on their website. These get 200 meters of water resistance. As I mentioned before, you get a 9039 inside. So that is a Miyota 9039. It's an automatic movement made in Japan. And of course, that is the dateless version of the 9039, which I love. So a very thin movement. So that means even though this gets 200 meters of water resistance, this is actually a thin watch. This is around 12.5 millimeters thick. I actually measured 12.4 millimeters. That's including that boxed domed sapphire crystal. Like I said, a very thick crystal, so it does sit very high off of that bezel. The lug to lug is 46.4 millimeters. The crown is 5.6 millimeters. You do get crown guards, so the crown is sitting really nicely inside of those crown guards. And then measured at the bezel itself, it's just about a 40 millimeter watch. I measured 39.9 millimeters. The hands, you're getting sword hands for both the hour and the minutes, and then you have a little arrow for that seconds hand. All of the indices are applied no matter what dial you are getting, and of course it just says the name of the brand up at the top of the dial. Down at the bottom it says the name of the watch, which is the Caribe, C-A-R-I-B-E. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. All of them do get a tan leather strap. All of them get a very similar sort of classic looking tan leather strap. This one is in a darker tone than the blue or black dials. This gets a brown strap, I would call it. The case back is screwed in. You do have their logo on the case back, and that's really it. This is a 20 millimeter strap, so you could definitely change out the strap very easily. A very vintage looking strap that will break in very nicely. The only thing I would say is that they have somewhat of a generic buckle on here. It is signed. I'll do a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. I would like to see a little bit more of a bespoke buckle, but that being said, really not all that bad. These are limited to 300 watches. I'm not sure if it's limited by color or limited by the entire series. If I know that information, I'll put that down in the description below. These also get BGW9, so we will do a lume shot at the end of this video. This is sort of a matte colored dial. This is a glossy dial, and this is a circular brushed dial. So this is a metallic dial, as the other 2 are more of an enamel dial. I believe that this is actually made of a bronze, maybe? I'm not entirely sure, but again, I'll put that information down in the description. This looks like a salmon dial, but I believe they call it a bronze dial. Here is the blue on my 7.5 inch wrist. This is a thin dive watch or dive style watch with 200 meters of water resistance. It's just about 12 millimeters thick, including that very boxed domed sapphire crystal. It's a 40mm watch at that bezel and 46mm at those lugs. And there's the black on my 7.5 inch wrist. I think this is the most classic looking out of the bunch. You're getting the most vintage styling here with those gilt indices and that dark dial. But my favorite out of the bunch is definitely this bronze dial. It's a salmon dial in my opinion, with those dark indices and hands. It's extremely legible, really good looking watch. Let's do bezel action really quickly while I have it on my wrist. Very, very smooth bezel action on here. Very pronounced clicks, sounds great, feels great. Excellent bezel action. There is no movement in the bezel whatsoever. Very, very solid. Currently, Ardio are running a sale on these. I think they are $4.99, and you're getting a really nice package with that. Overall, a very good looking watch, really nicely made watch with a Miyota 9039, which I love. I think $4.99 is the right price. Very quickly, let's do a lume shot. Well, there you go, lume, very good on all three of the watches. You can see that there is a lumed triangle in the bezel, and of course the indices and hands are lumed. You have a little bit of lume on that second hand, on the arrow of the second hand, which of course I love to see because you can see that the watch is actually working in the dark. It seems like that blue version is a little bit brighter than the other two, but that's not really the case. It's just sort of reflecting back onto the dial. All three have very good lume, very equally applied, I would say, in my opinion. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I will put a link to their website down in the description, so if you're interested in one of these watches, definitely check them out. Also, I want to hear from you. Tell me what you guys think of these watches down in the comment section below. What do you think of these watches? What do you think of the price? What do you think of the specs? Tell me which one you would choose out of the 5 available colors. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Anyway guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.